episode of the Very Serious Crafts podcast is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/seriouscrafts to support our podcast, find out about our Patreon half-stitched episodes, and more.
Hello, and welcome to Season 5, Episode 14 of the Very Serious Crafts podcast. I'm Molly from Wild Olive.
And I'm Haley from Red Handled Scissors and the Bones and Bobbins podcast. Today, we'll be talking about colorful tools and projects.
Yes. And
so many.
We tend to like episodes centering around color-related things. We enjoy those kinds of things.
It's true. This is,
I think, a different take than we have done before. I think.
Yeah, I think, I think we've touched on a few of these things in maybe very, very early episodes with Heidi, but we'll get there when we get there.
That's right. It's been a while.
Yeah, but before we jump into talking about colorful things, we would like to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters who are supporting us at, shockingly, patreon.com/seriouscrafts. Thanks, everyone. You're the best. And if you, listener, would like to hear from us every week instead of every other week, you should join us over on patreon.com/seriouscrafts.
So the thing that really got me thinking about this topic is a link that Laura Howard, who is also known as Lupin or Bugs and Fishes, she sent me this.
Yeah.
And
I think we talk about her an awful lot.
We do.
Yeah.
She
Hi, Laura.
Yeah. She came up in even planning a podcast things and whatnot. Anyway, so this thing is called Permutation Patterns. And this website, which the link will be in the show notes. This website lets you put in 5 colors, and then it creates all of the color order elements that you would, the different ways that you could put these 5 colors in order.
Yes,
and
it's really cool.
It's very fun to play with because you can change out and see how the colors play together, how to put them, or all the ways that it looks different from things. You can keep them.
Since it's exponential,
yeah.
So you think there aren't going to be that many because it's 5 colors and you're looking at 5 colors. But then you remember that math.
Yeah. And yes, you could 100% come up with all of these combinations on your own, but you don't have
it's
to.
But it's also nice to just see them laid out in front of you.
Yes.
All of them and all at the same time.
Yes.
Because, yes, you could come up with all of them by yourself, but I don't know that, it's much easier to compare when you've got them all in front of you.
Absolutely. And especially when you are talking about putting together a project that uses all these colors, the way that the colors interact with each other looks a lot of times different than what you expect it to. It has a different feeling to it. And even the
default one looks exactly like the Pendleton blanket that's on my bed.
There you go.
Right now.
There you go. They chose a good set of default colors, I have to say. But
which are like a slate blue, a orangey red. Oh, do you have different ones?
Wait a minute. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't have said slate blue. I would have said something closer to a navy blue, at least how it's showing on mine. And then, red, orange,
a dark
yellow.
slate. Yeah. And finishing off with cream-ish.
And it displays them as, concentric squares. Can you have concentric squares? Does that work? Squares and squares and squares? I think of concentric as circles, but I don't know.
That's what tessellating?
I don't know. No, I don't know. They're squares and squares.
I mean, but yeah, squares and squares and squares.
And in fact, when it gives you all of these...
Stacked squares?
Yeah, yeah. When you look at all of the permutations of it, it already looks like a quilt.
It does, and I kind of want to make a quilt specifically with all of the blue bordered ones.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, those are colors that I like. It's sort of like Spooky Halloween.
Yeah. It would also
But Spooky Halloween Twilight nice.
Yes.
It looks like my house.
Yeah, it'd be ideal for making a granny square quilt or Afghan. Like that would work well. There's also an option on the site to click and add a border, so you kind of get an idea of what if you were to like join your blocks with a color.
Yikes.
The sample color there is terrible, but it's a small border.
I don't hate it as much as I thought I would, though.
It's a like
color.
It's like a cyan.
Cyan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think it's such a useful tool for if you were going to make a 5-color project like a quilt or an Afghan.
Ooh, I just found a really nice one, though.
For the border or for the...
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's just a turquoisey color that ended up... That must be just exactly close enough to be weird, but not nope.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting, but not nope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I could definitely get lost in this particular site, imagining projects that I don't have time to make. Which, I mean, who doesn't want to do that? Like, planning projects that you don't have time to make?
Isn't that what we do every day when we're supposed to be making something else?
It certainly happens almost every time we record this podcast.
Oh my goodness. It sure does. I think there are multiple reasons that this tool is especially useful. And I think that, I mean, obviously it is colors that interact on a color wheel in a certain way, which I will, well, one of us, I'm sure, will blather on about color theory at some point. But what it also reminds me of is when I was in book publishing on, like, the actual working in books, not writing books side, I was in marketing. And so that included, like, catalog layouts and book covers and things like that. And we would do what I assume is, like, a really common art school or design school thing, which is to give something the squint test.
Ah, yes. I love the squint test.
Oh, me too. And if you don't know what the squint test is, you literally just squint to take something out of focus and see if what you get has, like, distinct blocks of information that read to your brain in a way that allows you to take in that information in an orderly way.
Yeah, it can help you, like, find out if your design is balanced, like, both with like the color balance. I actually talked with someone who uses the squint test for their Christmas decorations when they, like, put the lights out in front of the house and on their tree. I mean, I use it for the Christmas tree.
Oh, I use it for everything.
Yeah, but he was visual. Like, oh yeah, you got to stand out at the sidewalk and you got to squint at the house and make sure that it's all good.
Yeah, because then you can see if everything is distributed evenly.
It points out gaps in things and weird spots where you go, oh, I have, like, loads of this color over here and, like, it just looks off because there's nothing of that over here or whatever that may be.
Yeah, and so what it also helps with is a thing that a lot of quilters do, and I imagine that a lot of, especially intarsia knitters also do, which is looking at color values.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to know if the design that you're going for is going to stand out and just look good when it's done, taking a black and white photo of the project that you're working on will sort of remove a layer of distraction from your project. So, like, as someone with autism, having many different kinds of input all at once can be really overwhelming and hard to separate. And so doing, like, a black and white photograph so I can look and see just the dark things and the light things and specific patterns and stuff sort of takes away some of the noise.
Yeah.
And even though the colors are still very much here in this tool, it does sort of a similar thing for me, because at some point, since you're so used to these colors, you stop seeing the colors themselves and just start seeing how they interact with each other.
Yes.
And it doesn't really matter what the colors are. It matters what the values of the colors are.
Right.
Did any of that make sense?
I think so. I was definitely getting it. I was picking up what you're putting down. Speaking of the black and white photo thing, remind me.
And that's what I think we've talked about.
I think so.
Before.
Remind me if I'm thinking of this correctly. Yeah. Okay. The red glasses that you can use for seeing those color values as well. Have you seen those?
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's same kind of idea. Really, they probably were used before having...
I mean, it's like darkroom stuff.
Yeah, and it's before people had a cell phone that they could take a quick photo and make something black and white. The idea was was making everything kind of look the same color tone, therefore you could see the light and dark values. And
I think that comes from developing film, because that's how in a darkroom, because I did that in college.
Nice.
And I specifically worked with black and white film because, of course, I did. And that is how in that red light, when you've got film in the developer, or not film, but photo paper that has been exposed in the developer, you know when to stop. Like, you know when to put it in the bath to stop the further development. Yeah. And I think that I feel like someone who did photography noticed that and was also a quilter or something like that.
Exactly.
Because it just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Or someone developing, like, cinema film.
Sure.
Oh, black and white television.
Okay.
That's probably where a lot of this comes from, because in order to get the actual richness of colors, even in just black and white, the depth of tone,
right,
you have to use completely, like, you look terrifying. Like, the Addams Family set, for example, is pink.
Oh, right, yes, because...
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because those tones reflect a certain way with studio lighting, and so the same thing with, like, makeup and things like that.
Right, well, and that's why, like, when you do take a black and white photo of, say, a quilt, a lot of times the colors show in such a different way than you expect them to, and that is that same idea that they would use for creating black and white film.
Things stand out that for sure don't stand out. I mean, they probably are, they definitely are contributing to if a quilt works, that's one of the reasons why. Right. But, and if it doesn't, that is definitely one of the reasons why. But I really enjoy the subtlety of how your brain deals with color in like several different levels.
Yeah. I will say, like, probably one of my biggest glitches when it comes to color is that I have certain colors that I really like to use, but they can end up feeling like a very similar value. And so when they're put together, then I'm like, oh no, it just has kind of like a dull feeling to it. And it's harder with things like embroidery and cross stitch to anticipate that, I think, because
it just shows up. Sometimes you cannot tell until you've
exactly, you can't see it until it's done. Yeah. And things that colors that look very different from each other when you're holding two skeins of thread next to each other.
Yep. Or even in squares on a pattern.
Right, exactly.
Once you add texture,
it's stitched, it's like, oh no. You can barely tell the difference. Even though in theory,
my Golden Girls book required some reworking with hair colors and such for a while, because the correct colors, like the in theory correct colors, just did not read that way.
Yeah.
Even though I was designing on a white background and stitching on a white background.
Yeah.
It just didn't work that way.
Yeah. I was just having a conversation with someone who was doing a cross stitch pattern that was like created from a photograph and of a human, and getting skin colors translated from photo pixels into thread colors.
That's so hard.
She said, well, I chose colors that seemed to look right based on seeing the photo, not what the photo to cross stitch pattern thought it should be, because the pixels just read totally wrong. And so it took a fair amount of trial and error to get it to look right and get shading correct. And there's some things that unfortunately, some things that color tools don't get right. So
no, and it's like the subtlety and interaction between two areas that are very close together.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of the reasons, like, I have a pretty specific style of designing people in cross stitch patterns, which tends to be the thing that gets me hired.
Yep.
But it takes absolutely forever. Like, there are a finite number of squares involved in a head.
Yeah.
But it can take me hours or sometimes days to get it to look right, even if all of the spacing and things like that technically are right.
Yeah.
They don't always look right.
Yep. Yeah, when you're talking, especially like skin tone threads, there's some, like, DMC has added more colors that are helpful, but yeah, sometimes it's just really hard to get those things correct.
Yeah. Well, and the labeling is also really hard.
Yeah.
So you can end up with very peach, like very yellow undertones, very pink undertones, relatively few green undertones, and even fewer cool undertones, and I happen to be someone who has blue undertones.
Yeah.
And so it looks like skin tones, especially if I've only been looking at me recently, look especially orange.
Yeah. Browns can go from either like this like funky like gray brown to like really, really dark yellowy brown. And there's like some finding
and like
the in-between.
A lot of reds also.
Yes, lots of reds in there. Finding in between, not always so easy. Not always so easy.
There are certain makeup companies, and I don't generally wear makeup, but I usually have some just in case I need to go on a red carpet, like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do. But they've just started making them in the same shades but different undertone colors.
Ah, yes.
And the difference between, because usually when you get as pale as I am,
Yeah.
you tend to get pink undertones.
Right.
Like, because everyone assumes that you have red hair. Like, that's what it's made for.
Sure, that makes sense.
And, although I look kind of tan right now.
You do.
Thanks, filtered light.
Yeah.
It's not real. But, so yeah, I'm loving that exists in makeup, and I'm waiting for specifically marketed skin tone, like yarn and embroidery floss and things like that to catch up.
Yeah, you've seen the yarn line that Crafty is Cool has now, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she's like,
and it's good.
yeah, she was
Yeah.
one of the first places that you saw that really come out. And in a way,
Oh, absolutely. And Allison, just for the for context,
Yeah.
also did the crocheted Golden Girls
Right.
book that is sort of the counterpart to mine. And I'm not sure if she did the Bob Ross one, but we have done a bunch of opposite.
Oh, I know. She has done
opposite books.
She has done a she has a cross stitch design for an artist
Yes,
who
I
looks remarkably similar to
am-
Bob Ross, but is not officially Bob Ross for reasons.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
for reasons. And those reasons may have moved elsewhere. But her line is, and I've seen a couple of bigger companies basically swoop in
Yeah.
and copy
Yeah.
her idea, even really, really similar packaging and stuff like that. And while I love to see the need being filled,
Yeah.
pay her.
Right. Right. It needs to
Please pay her, because she put a lot of work into
Yeah.
finding and sourcing an entire array of skin tones. And, like, she just did a really good job.
Yeah. And I mean, in one sense, DMC with their embroidery floss, they've had, none of what they've done has been like, at least in things that I've seen, you don't have like, here is the skin collection, right? Like, it's not that. But if they
I
were
think
to,
they should.
I think they should. If they were to do that and say like, look, we've selected these colors to help you, like, as a starting point, and we've added in these colors to make this really work.
Through.
That would be fantastic. And they have added,
And if it could be put together by someone who wasn't white, that would
be
also be good.
even better. Yes.
Yeah, because
they really need.
we've figured out
Yeah.
paler skin tones.
They could really
largely.
stand to have a whole team of people so that you could have people of
I
different
agree.
skin tones, really
I just
looking
think
at it,
that
but
they
yeah.
have done a much better job with people who look as though they have European heritage,
Yes.
as opposed to anywhere else.
Right. And I mean, obviously they are a European country, or company. I get it, but it's time to.
Jack.
Jack would like cat-colored embroidery floss, please.
But Jack is like 7 or 8 different colors.
Exactly. See, it's perfect because then they get you to buy more embroidery.
Most of those are skin tone.
It could work. It could work. Speaking of embroidery floss, another resource that I have here in the list is a website called stitchpalettes.com. And I have...
Oh, yeah.
Again, it would help if I click on the right thing. Okay. They have all kinds of color palettes, and they are usually based off of photos. And it's a good way to kind of like get like the feeling of a color palette that you like. And my favorite part about these, because I don't always look to other websites for a color palette in itself, although I have done that, and I know that a lot of people would find that part itself to be useful, because it is. But it lists out the colors with their names, with their DMC color, And then if you go down a little bit, they have the color codes for RGB and CMYK for adding into
Yes, please. Thank you.
either for printed things or for your screen web-based things. And as a designer, especially putting together the files
so
to go
helpful.
things, it's fantastic. But I think it's a useful website for a lot of people. And you can search by a DMC number, and then it will show you all manner of palettes that go with it. But I've used it even just to look up numbers for certain colors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Well, I don't. I have a CSV file that I use that honestly probably is. I imagine if I wanted to look at the source code for this website, that may or may not be where it came from.
There are different sites though that have that the color codes themselves are different from each other. Like the same color is put together in a different way. So looking at different options I've found has been helpful, but not all of them have the CMYK for printing, which is interesting.
Which is really helpful. Yeah. I also think that if you're like a really good thing to have on hand, even if you're not trying to take a deep dive into being good at colors, specifically, having just a basic printed color wheel that you can pull out, like, it becomes really obvious why something isn't working, because color wheels are sectioned off in like groups of colors, and you can see physically that the colors across from the color that you're working with on the color wheel are going to work with it while other colors won't, and you can see that play out visually, which is really helpful. And I have just a normal color wheel that I have, and like this is similar to like if you happen to be a watercolor painter, you might have painted one of these.
Yes.
And it's the same thing.
Which I don't know if you saw this, but I put it in my Instagram stories maybe yesterday. It was someone who took I think it was just like a wooden ball, and they masked it off and they painted a 3-dimensional color gradation kind of a thing on
I didn't see
the wooden ball, and it's amazing. And their whole account had things similar to that, where they were making like color wheel kinds of pieces. And
that's fun.
I mean, often when I'm even designing something, I will just try to like pick colors across like the whole spectrum, like have like a rainbow, and then choose some like lighter and darker tints and shades to work with, and that gives me like a good thing to work with. But yeah, it's all of the even a low-tech color wheel, very useful.
And it can make you look like it can make it very easy to make something that looks like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Switching gears just a little bit, do you want to talk about some of our favorite projects that would use, like, especially choosing lots of colors for things? Like, one of the first things that came to mind for me was like color temperature quilts and afghans and cross stitches and all of those things. Have you ever made one of those?
Oh yeah, I haven't, but I kind of want to do it now that I'm in a place that literally during the day can have a 40-degree change, which is interesting.
That is interesting. Layers are your friend, I assume?
It hasn't really mattered yet because it's been like 90 during the day and 50, like in the 90s and in the 50s. And so by morning when the temperature starts rising again, it has just cooled off to comfortable.
Right.
Inside the house. But I really want to do specifically a knitted, like a throw of like the high and the low every day.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe starting in January.
That would be a good time to start it. I was
Wouldn't
thinking
it?
like, were you gonna go? Were you gonna go for like the average temperature of the day or just the high? Because I think some people just do like a high, but I could be wrong. I forgot that I've seen where it's high and low.
I was
but-
thinking high and low.
Yeah, I like it because that would give you a more mixed range of color. Have you seen the?
It would also give me 2 rows a day.
There you go. There you go. Because have you seen ones where people have done it as a scarf?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are very fun. Lots of ends to weave in these sorts of projects, unfortunately, but they are pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that's a really good argument for crochet then.
I think, I want to say, is it Karina? What is Karina's last name? I don't remember. She's been doing a cross-stitch color temperature thing, I think. And that has been, I think that's very cute. I do like that. Just because you can add a small, you're just doing a handful of stitches and she might be, I'm trying to remember how she has it. I'll have to find it and see if I can link to a picture of what she's been working on, but that's very fun. I'm also curious, hers might be in Celsius and you have a smaller range of numbers in that case. So I guess in that case, when people do color temperature projects in Fahrenheit, they usually choose like a range of temperatures. If you're doing it in Celsius, you might just choose a color for each number.
I mean, I was thinking stitch by stitch and a range of numbers.
Yeah.
Because since I want something wide-ish,
Yeah.
I was thinking doing something like 110 stitches wide, and then better not get any warmer than 110 in Vermont.
Good grief, yeah. No.
I mean, it hasn't. I don't even think it's hit 100 yet.
I imagine it's gonna
Close.
I imagine it's gonna drop below 0 though. So
Significantly.
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting. I didn't even think about that.
yeah. Because I think I've seen them where they're even just like grouped into
Yeah,
like
because I should do a
color- or,
midpoint.
where they're grouped into like 10-degree blocks.
Ooh, I want to do one that is reflected over a midpoint. So so I would do like saturated colors on the warmer side and muted colors on
That would
the
be cool.
cooler side.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will either be... The problem with this project is it's going to be depressing.
It could very well be. You definitely see when you have like the really long chunks of either bitterly cold weather or unseasonably warm weather.
Right.
And that's, yeah. Both of those are not pleasant. Yeah.
No. No. Yeah. Well, now I just want to start a thing because of course I do.
Well, I'm the color mutation. Wow. The color permutation.
I mean,
Well.
also mutation, whatever.
You know what I mean, okay?
I didn't say a word.
The color permutation generator 100% makes me want to make a crocheted granny square Afghan. Like, so much.
Well, yeah. I mean, or a log cabin quilt walk.
Also that. I will also say one of the great benefits of this and making sure that all of the colors basically get spread out equally is that you could just buy the same amount of materials for every color.
True.
You don't have certain colors that are going to use up more yarn or more fabric because
that's delightful.
It's all the same. I didn't think about that until now.
Ooh. That's a really solid argument for that.
It is. Also, the same design that comes up on that, you 100% could cross stitch that.
Oh, yeah.
Without much brain power at all.
Oh, I mean, it would end up being like Bargello.
Yeah, it would. Which, okay, now I'm thinking all these things for Bargello would also be wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that we've touched on all of the color things that we need to for now. We've got planned projects. Always a good idea on the Very Serious Crafts podcast. We've geeked out about color theory just enough, and found some tools to make it all happen. So, any other additions?
No, I don't think so right now.
Any subtractions? Simply because additive color, subtractive color, that's a whole other thing.
I would like to subtract a few degrees from the current pattern. That would be my temperature.
Okay.
Quilt, cross stitch, knitting, crochet, whatever.
Okay. We will request that God turns the thermostat down outside for you.
Just a little bit. Just a touch.
Sounds good. Good. All right.
Anyway. Thanks for listening to the Very Serious Crafts podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Serious Crafts and on Facebook at Very Serious Crafts. You can also find show notes and all of the other things that are Very Serious Crafts related at veryseriouscrafts.com.
Sorry, I was like, Very Serious Crafts adjacent.
Adjacent.
They're not adjacent.
A permutation of
yes,
Very
exactly.
Serious Crafts.
Sorry. Continue.
Yes. And finally, if you're a fan of the Very Serious Crafts podcast, please leave us a 5-star review on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts. Because good ratings, they help us.
Indeed.
They help us show up in recommendations, which helps more people who love crafting find us, and I've apparently turned in to New York just for a moment.
You can take the girl out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the girl. Is that it? I've just referred to you as a girl, which is not really,
that's all right.
A fully grown woman. All right. I don't know where that.
I answer to most things.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to close this out now. Bye, friends.